J.J. McCarthy has a torn meniscus per Kevin O'Connell. Now, this one's a little tricky here, guys, because if they go in, and this is how it goes, when they go in and do the surgery, and I'm not a doctor, but I am informed of how this operation goes. If it's a trim, it'll be about 4 to 6 weeks. If it's a full repair, it could be about 4 to 6 months. So we are looking at two totally different situations for McCarthy, but a guy that picked up a ton of steam during his preseason debut, Matthew, now loses all of that. It will be the Sam Darnold show out of the gate. If you listen to our Justin Jefferson combo at the top, it doesn't feel like that changes much, honestly.
It does, and it's disappointing for J.J. McCarthy. I'm going to hope for a trim and not a full tear.
Right.
Thank you for that insight there. But as we await news on how long J.J. McCarthy will miss, to your point, it is going to be Sam Darnold. And look, Sam Darnold suddenly is on kind of the sleeper radar. He suddenly becomes 2-quarterback league, super flex, interesting, because it is going to be an offense that's going to be throwing the ball a lot. They're going to be pass first. They're going to be fantasy friendly. Darnold is weirdly more athletic with his legs than I think you'd give credit for. Like, I remember that year in Carolina where he was scoring rushing touchdowns left and right. They were all like sort of gimme bunnies. But like, my point is like, he's not Lamar Jackson or Kyler Murray, but he's also not Matt Ryan back there, right? I mean, he's got a little bit of a, I think he can get you, 15, 20 yards rushing and maybe a handful of rushing touchdowns as long as it keeps the job here. And again, he's playing indoors in a dome and gets to throw to Justin Jefferson. So tough break for J.J. McCarthy, but at least we have some clarity, at least in the early going, on who the Vikings quarterback will be. I probably think, regardless of whether it's 4 to 6 weeks or 4 to 6 months, I'm no longer drafting J.J. McCarthy, even in a deep league, even in a 2-quarterback league. A dynasty league would be the only, or like deeper keeper league is the only place where I'm drafting McCarthy until we know at least what the timeline is.
Yeah, with Sam Darnold, he just turned 27 years old. Feels like he's
been around forever,
early to mid-30s. And the thing with Darnold, who I don't think is going to, suddenly live up to where he was drafted, but he has played in his career. He's been a starting quarterback under 3 regimes: the Todd Bowles Jets, the Adam Gase Jets, and the Matt Rule Panthers. That's about as bad as it gets in terms of offenses, in terms of just overall what's going on with the teams, particularly with the Rule and Gase Jets. So I think this is by far the best context that he has ever played in. If we don't give him Shanahan last year, where he came in at the end of the Baltimore game, but outside of that, didn't do a great deal. So I mean, there is upside for competence from Darnold, who the last time that he got an extended starting look, he looked okay in Carolina. I thought.
Yeah, he was a hot fantasy quarterback for a minute there. For like that first month, it was like insane. He kept scoring all these rushing touchdowns.
Some more noteworthy injury news here, guys. Adam Schefter reported that Lions running back Jahmyr Gibbs suffered a hamstring strain in practice on Monday. Now, these ones, Matthew, can be a little tricky because with a running back, it's a hamstring. Yes, it's a strain, which is better, obviously, than a tear, but these things can linger. And obviously, they have a proven running back in this committee as well as David Montgomery. This is one you just have to watch going into the start of the season.
That's exactly right. You never like a soft tissue injury for anyone, but especially a running back, especially a speed running back. So this is a concern, but let's see how it plays out. But if you told me right now, if you said, hey, Matthew, Jahmyr Gibbs is going to miss the first 2 weeks of the season, but then he's going to play the rest of the way, you'd be like, all right, I'll sign up for that. Again, Jahmyr Gibbs couldn't get on the field the first couple of weeks of the year last year, and I think most people were very excited about Jahmyr Gibbs' playing time. I think this will raise up David Montgomery somewhat. One of the points I made in 100 Facts is basically that David Montgomery is being way underdrafted. I actually think both Lions running backs were a little bit, but the one game that Gibbs didn't play, that week 5 game, Montgomery 21 for 129 total yards and a touchdown. You'll see some Craig Reynolds, best friend of our own Penn State Blake. If you remember Penn State Blake from last year, his best friend is Craig Reynolds. So he claimed. So Blake claimed. We've never confirmed that with Craig Reynolds. Like, Craig Reynolds never called in.
Blake doesn't even work here anymore, and he's catching strays.
Exactly. Screw you, Penn State Blake, wherever you're at. There's whatever. Sione Faki, which you could talk a little bit about. Faki, I know you
two-way player.
Combine.
Yeah, Sione Vaki, 2-way player, played safety Utah played running back, thought he was going to be an NFL safety. The Lions are seeing how this is going, and the going's been pretty good in the early carries he got in the preseason. So Sione Vaki is going to be that deep dynasty waiver ad this week. You will see.
So
I placed a bid on him.
Yeah, I like it. I mean, I think you can, drop Gibbs, a couple of spots, but ultimately, until we get more knowledge that on the level of seriousness of this, I think it's just sort of like, okay, kind of let's see. But, we still believe in Jahmyr Gibbs having a big year, but it's worth noting.
All right. Another one here, guys, as we continue going down. This one really hurts, Matthew. Tyrone Tracy, one of our favorite rookie sleepers, the day 3 running back pick of the Giants. He was catching a kickoff in practice, and I think it was muffed, and he went to pick the ball up, went down with an ankle injury, was carted off. He's going, as we have the information right now, he's going to the Hospital of Special Surgery for imaging on the right ankle. No news yet officially, but just does not look good in a backfield where things are wide open for Tracy to be the guy at some point of this year in this backfield.
It was, and in the preseason game, you and I both loved Tyrone Tracy, and in the preseason game, I thought it was, instructive that, he got, quote unquote starter carries. Yeah. Devin Singletary didn't dress. So, Tyrone Tracy was the running back that got the first carries whatever level of first team was out there. Eric Gray was the star, and obviously now, for however long Tyrone Tracy is going to be out, Eric Gray has an opportunity to make good on, what he did in the last preseason game. Doesn't feel like Devin Singletary is going to be a every down player. As we wait to see the severity of the Tracy injury, and to your point, Connor, does not sound good from all the reports and the fact that, he's in an air cast and they, took him for further imaging and testing.
You don't go to the Hospital of Special Surgery for a cold.
No, you sure don't. But it feels like probably the Giants could be in a market. They'll kick the tires on some. There's a bunch of free agent running backs out there that you've heard of that feels like they'll kick the tires on somebody. I don't think they're going to go into the season with, just Devin Singletary and Eric Gray, that have experience.
Yeah, I mean, there's a chance that the lead or most valuable fantasy running back on the Giants isn't even part of the roster right now, and it looks like it's going to be the Devin Singletary show, which historically not many people have bought tickets to. But I mean, he's solid and he knows the system, and Daboll likes him, so it seems like he's going to be the guy.
Yeah, more of an opportunity for Devin Singletary for sure.
Hey, it's Matthew Berry from NBCSports.com and RotorWorld.com, and I want to thank you so much for watching whatever it is you just watched, or if nothing else, being too lazy to click out of the autoplay after this video started, after whatever it is you actually wanted to watch finished. But now that you're here, I'd like to take a moment here to ask you respectfully now, okay? I'm asking you respectfully to subscribe to the NFL on NBC YouTube channel. You'll get the latest Roto-World fantasy news headlines, all sorts of great shows, including my own Fantasy Football Happy Hour. So go subscribe now. Again, I'm asking respectfully.